Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight we'll cover our 18th lesson in our series on learning to read the Holy Quran. And our lesson tonight will introduce us to what we call, or to what is called, the Shad. And the Shad has the shape which you see here. If you consider this a lowercase w to help you remember, this is called Shad. Now, what is the Shad and what does the Shad do? The Shad does two jobs. One, like the Sakin, it connects a letter to the letter on its right. If you remember the Sakin from our two previous lessons, what does the Sakin do? When it is on a letter, it connects that letter to the letter before it as one syllable. So the Shad also connects a letter to the letter on its right. However, the Shad always carries a vowel. If you remember, the Sakin is a stop on the sound of the letter and it does not carry a vowel. However, the Shad does carry a vowel. And when we read the letter with a Shad, we drag the sound of the letter, as we're going to demonstrate in our next examples. So here we have the letter Alif with a Fatha, and it's followed by a Noon that has the Shad on it. And as we said in rule number 2 here, the Shad always carries a vowel. It's never by itself. The Sakin is always by itself on a letter, but the Shad, as you see here, always has a vowel on it as well. So here the Noon has a Shad and a Fatha. So what does the Shad do? The first job that the Shad does, as we said, is that it connects the letter to the letter before it, to the letter on its right. So it connects this Noon to the Alif on its right. So this means that we pronounce this as an. See, that's the first part of the Shad is an. And the second part of the Shad is that this letter Noon itself will pronounce that vowel that's on the Shad. So the Shad connects the letter to the letter on its right, and then the letter itself will pronounce the vowel that is connected with that Shad. So we say anna. So you see, we read this like this. The Shad, like the Sakin, connects to the letter before it. So we say an, and then the Shad also has a vowel attached to it. We pronounce that vowel as, with the Noon as na. However, what we do here, we don't allow there to be a break between these two functions, between these two jobs of the Shad. So when we connect the Noon with the Alif and then pronounce the Fatha, we do not stop the sound of the Noon. So we say anna. So you see, we drag the sound of the Noon from one part to the next. We say anna. So we do this with all the letters that have the Shad. Now, we don't always drag the sound of the letter very long, but we drag it just a little bit so that there's no break between connecting it to the letter on its right and pronouncing the vowel. So we say anna. Our next word, here we have a tha, and from here on we don't have to keep showing the uppercase and the lowercase letters. Alhamdulillah, now you've become familiar with the lowercase letters, so we can confidently show the lowercase letters, and inshallah you'll be able to recognize them. So here we have the letter tha with a dhamma on it. So as you know, if we were to pronounce this tha by itself, this is tho. But we have a meme after it that has a Shad and a Fatha. So the sound of the meme must be connected to the tha, so we say thum, and without stopping the sound of the meme, we have to pronounce the Fatha that's on the meme by saying ma. So we say thum and ma, but without stopping the sound of the meme, so we say thumma, thumma. We should not say thumma. You see, there was a break between the two. Thumma. There's a break between the two, which is not correct. We should not say thuma, thuma. If I say thuma, then I did not connect the tha with the meme, thum. I didn't join the two as one syllable. I made it two syllables. I said thuma. This is also incorrect. I have to join the two, thum, and without stopping the sound of the meme, say ma. I should say thumma. On to our next example. Our next word is an alif with a kasra. So it's pronounced e, but there's a noon after it with shad. So we have to connect it to the alif. We say in, and then we have to pronounce the fatha that's on the noon to say na. But this has to be done without stopping the sound of the noon. So we say inna. Again, we say inna. Our next word. Here we have a sad with a fatha. So this is pronounced sa. Then we have lam with shad, which means we have to connect that lam to the sad. So we say sal. And then the lam also has a kasra. So we have to read the lam with a kasra as le, but we have to connect the lam with the sad and then pronounce the kasra for the lam without stopping the sound of the lam. So we say salli. See, the shad connects with the sad and then we pronounce the kasra on the lam itself. We say salli. One more time, we say salli. Our next word. We have here a kaf with dhamma, which is pronounced ku. Then we have lam with shad. So we have to connect the lam with the kaf to say kul, and then without stopping the sound of the lam, we have to pronounce the vowel on the lam, which is dhamma. So we say lo. So we have to say kul to connect the lam with the kaf. We say kul, then we pronounce the lam with fatha lo. But we have to drag the sound of the lam. So we say it together. We say kullu. One more time. Kullu. Our next word. Here we have the letter ha with fatha, which is pronounced ha. Then we have the letter ya with a shad. So the sound of the ya, the Y sound, as we would say in English, the Y sound, y. This has to get connected to the ha. So we have to say hay, hay. And then the ya itself also has a fatha. So we have to say ya. So we say hay and the ya by dragging the sound of the ya. We say hayya. Again, hayya. Our next word. Here we have an alif with kasra. So it's pronounced a. And then you remember this is what we call the lam alif. This shape that you see here, this is actually the letter lam and the letter alif, but it's written together in a special way. And there's two ways to write it. One is the way that you see here. The other is in some prints of the Quran or some the fonts that you see, you'll see it written like this with the lam and then the alif a little bit angled inside the alif. I'm sorry, inside the lam. But here you'll see it written this way. So this portion right here is the lam, and then this is the alif. So this lam has a shad, and therefore this lam will connect to this alif. So we say il, and then this lam has the fatha and another alif after it, so we have to pronounce the long vowel for it, la. So now we have to say, by dragging the sound of the lam, we say il, and without stopping the sound of the lam, we say la. Il, la. Now we join it together, we say illa. One more time, we say illa. On to our next word. We have a ra with fatha, which is pronounced, of course, as ra. Then we have this here. This is the letter ba with the shad. So we connect the ba with the ra as rab, rab. Now the ba has a itself has a kasra and a ya. So we have to read it with the e long vowel sound. We have to say b. So now we have our two syllables. First, the shad connects the ba with the ra. We say rab. Then the ba has the long vowel sound e. So we say b. So it's rab, b. But we have to say it without stopping the sound of the ba. No break there. We have to say rabbi, rabbi. One more time. Rabbi. MashaAllah. Our next word. Here we have an alif with kasra. Then we have a ya with shad. So now what do we do here? We have to say the long vowel on the alif. We say e, e, because there's kasra and ya. So we say e, and then the ya itself has a long vowel. It has a fatha and alif. So we have to say ya. So the first part is E, then ya, but because the ya has a shad, we can't stop the sound of the ya. We say iya. And then there's a kaf that has fatha, which is pronounced ka. So this is now 3 syllables. Iyaka. See, Iyaka. So when we pronounce this word, and it's very important to pronounce this word correctly, because this word comes twice in Surah Al-Fatiha, which is a chapter of the Quran that we read in our prayers. So I cannot say Iyaka. See, I didn't connect the ya with the alif. I said Iyaka, which is incorrect. I should say Iyaka. I have to emphasize the shad on the letter. Next word. We have an alif with fatha, which is pronounced a, followed by lam that has shad. So now I have to connect the alif to the lam. I say al. Then the lam has a fatha, so it gets pronounced la. So I have to say the al and the la without stopping the sound of the lam. We say Allah. Then we have dal with kasra and ya. So we read the dal with a long vowel. We say the, and then the noon has a fatha, which is of course pronounced na. So now we have Allah, the na. So now how let's say this word smoothly without stopping. We say alladhina. One more time. Let's read it together. Alladhina. MashaAllah. And our last word, a very special word for us Muslims, of course. This is the name of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. So now we're going to learn how it's spelled and how we read it. So here we have the letter Mim with a dhamma, which is pronounced mu. Then we have the letter Ha with fatha, which is pronounced ha. Then we have the Mim with a shad. So this Mim must get connected to that ha. We say ham, and then the Mim has a fatha as well. So we have to say ma. So we have to say ham and ma without stopping the sound of the Mim. It's hamma. And then the dal has tanween. It has the 2 dhammas, which is dun. So here we have mu, hamma, dun. Let's read it again. Mu, hamma, dun. Let's read it smoothly. Muhammadun. One more time. Muhammadun. Now, of course, when we're talking, we don't always say Prophet Muhammadun. So this is one of the little details that as we continue learning to read Quran, we learn that when we stop on a letter, if it has a short vowel, then that short vowel in most cases, whether it's a short vowel or tanween, in most cases, we read it like a sakin. So we would read this dal as if it had a sakin. That's why we say Muhammad. But when we're reading through, if the word Muhammad is in a sentence, then depending on what vowel is on this dal, we would pronounce that dal. For example, we say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And a very important point to remember, this ha in the word Muhammad is the hard H, not the soft H. It's not Muhammad. Muhammad. We should practice to make sure that when we say the name of our Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we pronounce his name exactly as it should be pronounced, inshallah. This is Muhammad or Muhammadun as written here. So that is the end of our lesson for tonight.